Hi folks, Mr. Coleman here, giving you a brief video that gives you some highlights regarding Common App, Naviance, and letters of recommendation. So when it comes to Common App, if you want a lot more information regarding Common App, how to complete it, etc., please double check the master PowerPoint for Senior Seminar 1 because it has the hyperlink to the PowerPoint and the video recording from our Common App refresher this summer. Generally, the biggest thing to understand about Common App right now as you're completing it is making sure that your Common App and Naviance accounts are linked. Your counselor will not be able to submit any electronic Common App materials to your schools unless those two accounts are linked. Also, just so you're aware, sometimes when you're completing your Common App or other scholarship or college applications, you might need our school's CEEB code, which is 140905. You may need our class size, which is 520 students. And if you're ever asked for the GPA scale at Jones, please keep in mind that you take a combination of regular, honors, and AP level courses, our overall GPA scale is still 4.0. So yes, that does mean that your GPA may be higher than that, and that is totally okay. If you're ever asked to submit your GPA, we always recommend that you submit whichever is higher. For the overwhelming majority of you, that will be your weighted GPA. And if your counselor is ever asked to submit your GPA for you, if we're submitting your official transcript, we're always submitting both your weighted and unweighted GPAs, since both of those GPAs are included on your transcript. Now, shifting gears briefly to Naviance. So when it comes to Naviance, the two biggest things to really know right now is that you need to have your colleges on your applying to list as opposed to your thinking about list. You need to move them over, and you need to link the accounts, as I said prior. Let me briefly show you Naviance. Hold on one second. Okay, so I'm in Naviance on the home page. Everything that you're going to need to either link your accounts or move schools over to your colleges I'm applying to list, you can either find under my favorites, colleges I'm thinking about, colleges I'm applying to, or at the very, very top under colleges. So the first thing we're going to do, move over to our colleges I'm thinking about list. You should see schools here. I'm in a demo account, so I can't really see any schools. But if you want to move schools from your colleges I'm thinking about list to your application list, you can click the little boxes here and then click move to application list. And that'll take things over to your application list. Okay. And then on your colleges I'm applying to, just make sure that you update the deadline. Let your counselor know what type of deadline you plan to use. Also, please note that both the transcripts and the office materials, these two rows or columns rather, aren't going to be updated with any level of fidelity. You can't really use them. They're a little glitchy for us. So we ask that you don't pay attention to either of these since we have other methods to make sure that those documents are submitted. If you wanted to check yourselves, you can always check Common App to see if materials have been submitted for you. And if they're non-Common App schools, you can go into your portal for that school on the school's website, and that will likely have updated information for you as well. Okay, you can always take a look at submission type. This will always let you know whether or not the school is Common App, or if it's electronic submission, or if it requires hard copy materials to go in the mail. Okay. And this will become important as you're requesting materials from your counselor, okay? And that's all on your application, college I'm applying to list. Now, when it comes to matching accounts, briefly, just wanted to highlight, we do have in the master PowerPoint for Seminar 1, a video that shows you how to link your accounts. We also have a full breakdown of the instructions on how to link your Common App and Naviance. And if you have any issues or concerns during that process, please let your counselor know. Okay. Now I'm going to shift gears and talk about letters of recommendation. The big things to highlight here: one, make sure that if you want your counselor to write for you, we always recommend that you complete the self-assessment that we put in Google Classroom last year that gives us so much helpful information about you and what you've enjoyed about your high school experience that we can then use on your letter. When it comes to teacher requests, there's actually a two-step process. I'm going to go back into Naviance and show you that briefly. Okay. So if you're ever trying to find letters of recommendation in Naviance under colleges, apply to college, letters of recommendation, this is where you will add your requests, your teacher requests, only after the teachers have told you yes, they will write for you. If a teacher has not said yes, they will write for you, then please do not add them here in Naviance. You'll click Add Request, select the teacher from the dropdown, pick which schools you want those letters to go to. If you want them to go to all, you can obviously select all, and then you can put in a note for that teacher. If the teacher already has some sort of process by which they've collected information from you on what you want them to talk about, that's fine. You don't need to add any information here, okay? Again, your teacher must say yes, they're willing to write for you before you add them here in Naviance, okay? The only other piece about letters of recommendation that you should be aware of is the reality if you're having any non-Jones staff, members writing for you, they're not going to be able to use Naviance, unfortunately. So you have a few options. If it's for a Common App school, you can add the non-Jones staff member as an other recommender in Common App, and that will allow them to submit their letters through Common App. And then if it's a non-Common App school, that's a little bit tougher. You're going to have to reach out to those folks directly, be it a coach or an employer or former Jones teacher, and you're going to have to give them instructions on how to send their letter to the school. All right. That will likely mean giving them the email address for the admissions office at that institution, and as well as the date by which they need to submit their letter. Okay. The only other thing to highlight around letters of recommendation is that if your lists in Naviance, your college I'm applying to list changes, you add additional schools after you request your teacher in Naviance, they're not going to receive an automatic notification of that in Naviance. So just email them to let them know that you've updated your list. Again, if you're ever updating your list in Naviance, it is your responsibility to email your teachers and let them know. Okay? And those are the only notes on letters of recommendation. Again, reference the master PowerPoint for Seminar 1 if you have any additional questions. All right, take care, folks.